Welcome to the Energy and Hours podcast, formerly called the Grow Like a Mother podcast. I'm your host, Jill Wright, author of Happy, Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise, and creator of the Time Magic Seasonal Planner. On this podcast, we talk about time and energy management tips that we can use to flow through our day in a way that feels more aligned. We focus a lot on how to use cyclical energy, seasonal cycles. We talk about productivity. We talk about self-care. We talk about rest. It all comes together in what I like to say is time magic. And if you tune into these episodes week after week, you're going to get a half an hour punch of tools, tips, and strategy advice for you to go and implement right away in your day to make your life feel a little bit more like you and a little bit less stressful. Welcome back to Energy and Hours. I'm your host, Jill Wright, time management expert, energy management expert, and I'm so glad to have you here with me. If this is your first time listening, welcome. I know we have a lot of new listeners and new people to the community, so we are so happy to have you here with us. And if you are a longtime listener, thank you. Thank you for being here over the past 5 years of doing this podcast. It has grown with you, and I'm really excited about the direction that we are headed in. As you'll notice, these episodes are less frequent than they used to be. I have given so many tips, tools, topics, themes over the years that I'm really concentrating now on coming online and sharing with you when there's something super relevant, interesting, new, valuable. I don't just want to come on and talk to you every single week just for the sake of talking. If you want to hear my voice, there are so many episodes. You can scroll back, take a look, listen to some of the guest episodes. I've had some incredible guests on, more to come. Today, though, is really going to be an episode where we talk about the seasonality of where we're at. It is summertime. At least it is summertime in North America. And my kids are just getting out of school in the coming weeks. I know a lot of you already have kiddos who have finished school for the year. What the heck do we do with this change? All of my work is talking about how we manage life in seasons. That's why the Time Magic Planner is 90 days. It is a seasonal tool because so much can change over the course of just a couple months. And we want to make sure that we're not feeling locked into systems that are outdated or no longer working for us. And we're always on the lookout for tools that are going to work for this season of life. And for many of us, this season of life is summertime chaos, where we are stretched thin with commitments. There is so much going on, no matter what your circumstance is. I know many people have a shift in their rhythm over the summer months, being off work or taking vacations. Of course, the kids are not in school, so that is a whole other kettle of fish. But for a lot of other people, things actually mostly remain the same over the summer months, right? Your work schedule doesn't change. Maybe there's summer camps for the kids. Um, it doesn't matter what your reality is this summer. I think that we all struggle with the shift, right? There is always some sort of change that happens. And I want to make sure that I'm able to hop on today and really just offer you some ideas about how we can navigate the summer months, whether they are mostly the same with a few changes or your whole world is being turned upside down. I want to make this fleeting season of sunshine and fun and activity and socializing less about money and more about making memories in a realistic way. A lot of us can have this idea that we need to go above and beyond in the summertime, like this is our only chance. And we come up with these elaborate and intense, chaotic plans only to find that we've run out of steam, we've run out of money, our kids are not into it, something happens, and we're disappointed. Or everything goes according to our plan in theory, but we're just going through the motions and we're too busy and stressed out to actually enjoy what we have created. And so I want to help you avoid that this summer. I want to give you two different buckets of ideas so you can pick from. Choose what resonates with you. See if anything sparks an inspiration or an idea. Just like I tell all of my clients, I'm going to throw a lot of information at you. Whatever floats to the top, make a couple notes, try a couple things. The intention is not for you to do every single thing that I've said in this episode. I'm just spewing ideas of things that you could try to help make your summer feel fun, spacious, like you've taken advantage of it without being overwhelmed. I want it to be a really 1990s vibe for the summer. I want it to be just pure, I don't even know what the word is that I'm looking for. I want it to be relaxed. I want it to be old school. I want it to be fun. I want it to be stress-free as much as we possibly can for all of us. Okay. So, especially if you are a mom with young kiddos who will be home or home more than usual, because summer camps, as we know, don't have 9 to 5 hours all the time. These tips are for you. Okay. First bucket of things that I wanted to talk about was what if you can't make a big trip? We see all of our friends and our families and everyone on Instagram posting about these big, elaborate vacations or camping trips or whatever it is that they're doing. And we feel as though we also need to be doing that, right? There is so much comparison, there is so much FOMO, fear of missing out on things, right? We want to make sure our kids have this magical summer vacation. And listen to me when I tell you this, you do not need to go away and have a big trip or spend a lot of money to make a magical summer vacation. The kids are going to remember the freezies. They're going to remember the picnic tables. Like they are going to remember the sandboxes and the time that was spent rather than the huge, elaborate, stress-inducing trips. And if that is your jam and you have something like that planned, amazing. I think that is a great opportunity. And when we can do it and when it makes sense in the season, when our kids are the right ages, when we financially can make sense, when our work schedule allows, this kind of trip to take as a family is incredible and it does make great memories. But I want to take the pressure off as well for those of us who don't have an opportunity to do that, whether it's time, money, energy, whatever resource we may be tight on this season doesn't mean that summer is going to be boring or pass you by without you doing anything. Okay. I want you to take advantage of things in your own town, in your own neighborhood, in neighboring towns. You can stay close to home. Okay. Think about things like visiting the museums, going to local sporting events, whether those be like professional, semi-professional, little league, whatever it is, take your kids out to a sporting event. Get a hot dog and some popcorn, some Cracker Jacks, if you will, right? Often they'll do like fireworks after a baseball game or they sing the national anthem or whatever it is. These experiences can be really fun to do as a family and not very expensive. You could stay in a hotel, make a day of it. Either go to the neighboring town, stay in the hotel, maybe take a train or a bus there, right? Or stay in a hotel in your own town. You don't have to travel far. It doesn't need to be the fanciest hotel. Get one with a pool and maybe a water slide. Your kids are going to be thrilled. Okay? Pack peanut butter sandwiches and eat them in the room if you're really on a budget. The idea is getting out of your ordinary. Okay? Spend one day. You don't have to spend a whole week. You can take these grander ideas and break them down into smaller pieces. What do you love about this idea of the trip that your friend is planning? Choose one thing and try to replicate that in your own hometown. You can play in your own backyard. You can play in the parks. You can play in your friend's backyard. Do you have a neighbor with a huge backyard that you could pitch a tent in? That would be so fun for the kids. Is there someone who can do a bonfire in their backyard to do marshmallows and s'mores? That's a great activity too, and you can still sleep in your own beds if you're not the camping type. You can do a hike that you've never done. A lot of cities have great green spaces and trails, bike rides. Of course, there's always going to be a local fair or like a rodeo or something that you can partake in that's outdoors, that's fun. Maybe the circus is coming to town. Maybe there's a water park in your town or the neighboring town or somewhere close by that you could go and experience this like wet and wild Disney Wonderland idea but for the day and somewhere that's a lot closer and a lot more affordable for you. Your kids are going to have just as much fun. Now, I referenced earlier this idea of keeping things simple, like in the 90s when we were sent out to play and say, come back for lunch, come back at, when the streetlights go off, just go have some fun, grab your friends, off you go. I realized that the world is different. I realized that there's technology now, which makes it really hard for our kids to want to leave the house. I realize that it's a lot hotter than it used to be. Nobody really talks about this. It's a lot hotter during the day than it was 30 years ago when I was a kid playing outside, right? We need to be aware of these things. And I know that there's a lot of fear out there as well about letting our kids play on their own. I think that that's a whole other conversation. Anyways, I have a few ideas for you in terms of what we can be doing to bring back that old school fun that we may have forgotten about. I had a birthday party for my son who turned 9 last month, and we did it at a park. He invited a lot of kids from his therapy center that he goes to. He has autism, and he has a bunch of friends who also go to this center a couple times a week to do ABA and OT and SLP and things like this. And so he wanted to invite those friends as well as his school friends. And knowing that a lot of these kids would just need to move their bodies and be like available for movement and crashing and things like this, I said, we're not doing it at home. We're doing it at a park. And so we had like 22 kids come to this local park. We made it down the street from his dad's house so we could use the bathroom if anyone needed that. Parents stayed, parents dropped off. It was very casual. There was no flow, there were no decorations. We had like a table with cupcakes and a cooler with freezies, and he opened his presents willy-nilly. Like everyone just grabbed and went. Everyone found someone to play with, and I heard so many parents say to me like, this is amazing. This is the best kind of party. I wish I'd thought about this for my kid. Like, they're just free, they're just playing. There was a basketball net and a big field. We brought a soccer ball and hula hoops, and it was great. And I think that we can recreate this without it having to be a birthday party in our own neighborhoods and in our own yards. Think sprinklers, garden hoses, kiddie pools, bubbles, right? Chalk, skipping ropes. The skippets are back. Does anyone remember those skippets? You put like a loop, your foot through this loop, and then there's a ball at the end that you sort of like skip and jump. Anyways, my daughters recently discovered those and they're super fun. All the girls at school are doing skipping and cartwheels, and they're crocheting at school, which is such a fun thing if it's a really hot day or rainy or something. Puzzles, right? Take your kids to the local park. If they're old enough, drop them off, send them on their bikes. My older two like to go fishing. We're looking for fishing spots. We drop them for an hour while I do my groceries, or I stay with the little ones and play on a nearby park structure. Well, the big guys can do their fishing thing. They feel like they're independent by themselves. Short periods of time outside, right? Think community pools, outdoor pools. They might have this in your neighborhood where they do swimming lessons and or open playtime with lifeguards. This is fantastic. Pack a lunch, bring a cooler. I have this little local spot. So within like 100 meters, there's the local library, there's a play structure, and there's a pool. Like I'm spending every day here, guys. This is my go-to spot so that we can go on hot days inside into the pool. If it's cooler, we can play on the play structure a lot longer. I'm just going to bring a whole bunch of snacks and food. It's not going to cost me more than, $3 to get into the pool per person. This is the type of thing I'm talking about. Bring the frisbees out. Get your chalk and get your bubbles. Find a splash pad. A lot of these community areas have water park, not water parks, but like splash pads where there's water features and sprinklers alongside the play structure, right? Find a big hill and roll down it, run up it. Go for a bike ride, a family bike ride. Pack a picnic. Bake some lemonade and do a lemonade stand in your neighborhood. Do a scavenger hunt. Take a small trail and look in a pond and get those little fishing nets and collect minnows, right? These are all things that can really stretch out those never ending long days that feel like everyone's home. What am I going to do with these kids all day? These are things that any one of them could occupy 1 to 2 hours by themselves, right? You could create a bingo card of different activities to do for your kids. See if you can do that. Or I like to put, actually, I've got it right here, a jar with like little pieces of paper, and we just grab one from the jar. One of the jars has free things. One of the jars has things that I have to pay for. So depending on if it's an activity day where I'm paying for something or if we're wanting to do something free, the kids just pick out of the jar and we have an adventure. Right? We've looked up local trails and hikes to do. We've looked up local activity centers and different park names and things that we like to do. And everyone puts ideas in the jar and we just pull it when we have a day. We can easily fill up a day doing that. Chip trucks, right? Like go to your local creamery and get an ice cream or the Dairy Queen or whatever. However, these are also things that you can squeeze in if you're not home with the kids all day. If they are at camp and your schedule hasn't changed and you are working with weekends and evenings and you have limited time, these ideas are all also things that you can do in 1 to 2 hours. So you can chunk them together and just string out a day, or you could just pepper them in where you have time, where you have an hour or two. It doesn't need to be a full day thing. I wanted to give you lots of versatile ideas that no matter what your schedule looks like this summer, you're able to get out and do some fun things without going very far, without spending a lot of money, while still creating some amazing memories, even if you don't have all day to dedicate to adventures. And even if you do, because that can be very daunting as well. No matter what age your kids are, mine are a little older now and they're able to spend some time on their own. They can read, they can do things independently, and I can work as I need to and play when we need to. And I realize we're not all in that season. I very, very distinctly remember those seasons where I was home all day with kids in diapers, packing bottles, everybody needing something, constant supervision. Hopefully, these ideas can take you through some of those harder days and make them a little bit more joyful. That is my goal for today. So I just wanted to pop in with a real quick episode to give you some ideas on how to spend your summer in a cost-effective, money money aware, energy aware type of vacation, making it feel like a vacation over the summer, even if you don't get vacation days, and enjoying this time with your family. Hopefully, you found something good in this episode. Please share it with another parent. Please leave me a rating or review. I would love to hear what landed. You can send me a DM on Instagram. I'm over on Substack too if you're more of a reader, long form content. I've got some really great things over there for you to check out. And of course, if you are someone who is in a busy season and needing a little bit of organization and planning help, the Time Magic Planner has recently been redone, revised, given a makeover. And I'm going to do an episode on that soon to walk you through how to use the planner. I'm also going to do an episode soon explaining to you what the heck is the time magic method. I talk about time magic a lot. And I thought it was time to really put it into words and describe for you exactly like what the heck I'm talking about. So thanks for being here. Thank you for listening. If you made it to the end, it means so much to me. Head over to whatever platform you're on, leave a rating or review. That would be incredible. It's the best way that you can support and share free content like this that we self-produce. So go and enjoy your summer. Have an amazing time. Let me know what you're up to. Send me your pictures. And until next week, keep on growing like a mother.